friends, I'm Lulu, and welcome to Judson Sunday Arts, where kids of all ages can make art that matters. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and for those of you joining us with low vision, I'm a white 34-year-old woman with very short, buzz-cut, dark blonde hair. I'm wearing a black cap-sleeved button-up blouse with a straight collar. And there's a big bookcase behind me with books and other things on it and art on the walls. It's still Poetry Month, and today we're amplifying poems from AAPI writers and writing poems with imagery. You will need something to write on and something to write with. If that's a pen and paper or a digital device, that's your choice. Andy took the week off, so this is a standalone lesson this week. Have you ever heard of Poem in Your Pocket Day? Poem in Your Pocket Day was started right here in New York City as part of the city's National Poetry Month celebration. The Academy of American Poets, which launched National Poetry Month, took Poem in Your Pocket Day to all 50 United States, and Canada has joined the party. The Academy of American Poets and the League of Canadian Poets puts out a wonderful guide every year that's linked below. It has suggestions for how to participate, as well as a selection of contemporary poetry from Americans and Canadians, and poems that are in the public domain, which means that they're so old anyone can publish them anywhere without needing to ask permission. There are lots of ways to participate in Poem in Your Pocket Day, so stay tuned because the next few weeks will help us prepare. We'll start by reading a poem from this year's Poem in Your Pocket guide by Lee Young Lee. Lee Young Lee was born in Indonesia in 1957 to parents that fled China as political exiles. Anti-Chinese sentiment in Indonesia saw Lee's father arrested and held as political prisoner for a year. After his release, the Lee family fled through several countries and arrived in the United States in 1964. With the recent surge of racist and deadly violence against Asian folks in the United States, it's important to find ways to support the AAPI community. That stands for Asian American and Pacific Islander. There are thousands of AAPI poets whose poems celebrate their cultural heritage and directly challenge stereotypes and racism. We can share these poems and art with our communities to amplify the voices of AAPI poets and artists. Lee's poem, Eating Together, shares a simple moment with his family and takes a turn. In the next clip, we'll hear Lee Young Lee read his poem as part of an older video series called Poetry Breaks. Lee Young is a man of Chinese descent with long hair that is pulled back. He holds his own book of poetry and stands in front of a wooden and brick doorway. He is wearing a brown t-shirt under a brown blazer.
Here's a poem called Eating Together, which surprised me in its making because I started out by paying attention to what was there in front of me, the physical world, but the poem insisted on making its own turn toward somebody who isn't there, the absent one. Eating Together. In the steamer is the trout, seasoned with slivers of ginger, 2 sprigs of green onion, and sesame oil. We shall eat it with rice for lunch, brothers, sister, my mother who will taste the sweetest meat of the head, holding it between her fingers deftly, the way my father did weeks ago. Then he lay down to sleep like a snow-covered road, winding through pines older than him, without any travelers, and lonely for no one.
Snaps! What do you think this poem is about? Did you notice where it shifted from being about what was in front of Lee Young to what he described as making its own turn towards somebody who isn't there? Did you expect the poem to end the way that it did? There is so much clear imagery in this poem, and that's what we're going to focus on today with our own writing. Imagery and poetry doesn't just mean visual images that you might see with your eyes, but elements of a poem that use any of the 5 senses to create a set of mental images. That means taking what we see, hear, taste, smell, and touch and writing it into your poem so that the reader can see it fully in their minds. How many senses did Lee Young touch on in Eating Together? Go ahead, scroll back. I'll be here when you're done. Now that you have some examples, that's right, it's art making time. Today, we're writing poems with imagery. You can start by describing what you see in front of you. What do you see, hear, taste, smell, and touch? Write it down so that anyone reading your poem could feel like they're there with you. Then, see where the poem takes you. Do you want to surprise the reader by shifting the tone and subject at the end? Maybe that will happen naturally, like it did for Lee Young. That, my friends, is the beauty of poetry. A poem will take you for a ride if you let it. I urge you to let your poem be your guide. You could spend 5 minutes or a whole week writing your poem that's full of imagery. If you love what you made, send it to me so I can feature it on another edition of Judson Sunday Arts. Be safe, wear your masks, happy AAPI Poetry Amplification, happy poetry writing, and happy Poetry Month, friends. See ya.